Hi, my name is Rose Arrowsmith DeCoux, and I am an instructor at North House Folk School. I'm also a storyteller, an actor, a writer, and I'm learning to be a mime. And this summer, June 27th and 28th, I will be teaching a workshop called Once Upon a Folktale, which will introduce you to all the basics of how to tell a vibrant story. And we're going to use traditional folk tales, some that you might know, and some that are really gems but are lesser known. So I wanted to share a little bit with you about why I love storytelling and to clarify a little bit about that, because sometimes when people hear the word storytelling, they think of a library lady reading picture books to children. But before there was television, before there were books, storytelling was the entertainment. That was what grown-ups did. We listened to stories and we told stories. And there are even some stories that if you start looking through them, you'll realize they're not really humor meant for children. And the thing that I really love about storytelling and the oral tradition is that there's no wrong way to do it. There's no one style. I come from a very theatrical background. I love costumes, I do stilt walking, I like to do big expressive movement, I like to do different voices for characters. But some of my very favorite storytellers are like Garrison Keillor. One of my favorite storytellers, Mike Cotter, is a farmer from southern Minnesota, and he stands in one place with one hand in his pocket and holding his microphone, and he tells stories about his life growing up on a farm and his dad's stories as a farmer. So the beautiful thing about storytelling is that every person has their own style that's really lovely to listen to, and I love to see when people discover that, especially because this is different from theater. You don't have to memorize anything. So I'll give you an example. You probably have heard of the story of the Three Little Pigs. Well, when we begin working on stories in my workshops, we do something that I call telling about. We just tell about a story. So if I were to tell you about the Three Little Pigs, I would say, well, so there are obviously three pigs, and there's also a big bad wolf. And the pigs set out on an adventure. All three of them make their own houses. So there's a house of sticks, and there's a house made of bricks, and oh yeah, one is made of straw. So you can see that I know all the details of that story. Then that story starts to become internalized, and you don't actually need to refer back to a script or to a written version. And from there, working in partners and working as a group, you'll start to add on voices. Maybe the Three Little Pigs are actually from Brooklyn. Maybe the big bad wolf has a high squeaky voice. Little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. So we'll just play around with it, really at whatever your comfort level is. And we'll start exploring how can we use our bodies, our gestures, to make that world of the story even more real for ourselves and for our listeners. You'll leave having the tools to tell a really vibrant, engaging story. Also understanding how you can have a story flow out of you without the worry that you need to remember things exactly right. And because this is a class where we'll really be working with each other, with some new friends and really great relationships. I'm Rose Arrowsmith DeCoux. Hope you'll join me for Once Upon a Folktale, June 27th and 28th in beautiful Grand Marais, Minnesota.